Welcome to September. Football season's going on the falls. I'm Randy.
I'm Kristen, and welcome to Crossing Kin. We are back with one of my favorite things we do on the channel with a sorting video. We've got our sorting hat here at the ready. I guess he and Dad are amicable today.
We are.
And we are
Still got my eyes on.
we are going to be sorting one of my favorite things, the Avengers. Now, let me get very clear. We are going to be sorting the 6 main Avengers from the first MCU Avengers movie.
So this is not the comic book Avengers. This is just the MCU.
Yes, we are going to do our absolute best to only take for our sorting video to only take what the films present us with.
Okay, good.
The 6 characters that call themselves the Avengers, those are the characters we're talking about across the MCU.
So we're mixing a couple of the most iconic brands out there in entertainment between Harry Potter world and the Potterverse.
Wizarding world of Harry Potter.
Okay, whatever. The Wizarding world of Harry Potter, and also Marvel and the MCU.
So we're going to get started. Dad, you want to give us a real quick review of what our houses are?
So this is from the Potterverse, and it is Gryffindor. These are the houses that they sort. This thing sorts people into, and that's what we're going to do with the original Avengers today. Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, and Slytherin.
All right, let's start off with everybody's favorite, well, most people's favorite. Tony Stark, Iron Man, played by Robert Downey Jr., the man that started it all.
Well, you have to give props to Robert Downey Jr. He had the vision to see that this could be the comeback role that he needed.
And boy, howdy.
And my goodness gracious, this helped him launch the Sherlock Holmes franchise. It's helped him.
He got an Oscar for Oppenheimer. 2 years ago?
Yeah,
last year?
Best Supporting Actor. Exactly. So I
Would
mean,
not have happened without Iron Man.
It might have, but Iron Man certainly. It's a great film. I mean, it's just a standalone great film, and he does Tony Stark. I just can't imagine anybody else playing the role.
Surprisingly, they very nearly cast Tom Cruise.
Well,
Tom Cruise was very nearly Tony Stark, but I think there was a Mission Impossible conflict.
Well, I could see that, but I just don't know that it would have been as well done.
It wouldn't. Robert does Tony spectacular. So let's talk about Tony. Best way to describe him: genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. That is how the man describes himself in Avengers. He's a lot, and I love him. But I think I know what house I'm ready. 3 people on. 3, 2, 1. Slytherin. Yeah, I knew we were gonna agree. Okay. Explain I get where you're coming from. Ravenclaw with the intelligence and creativity. Is that kind of where you're coming
Eccentricity?
from? That's fair.
You know, I mean, I get Slytherin. I do. I think, however,
he's very prideful. He's super cunning.
I say
very resourceful. He built the first thing in a cave with a box of scraps.
Ravenclaw with Slytherin adjacencies. Let's call him Slytherin adjacent.
Slitherclaw. That's what most
Slitherclaw. That's pretty good.
But no, I think his Slytherin tendencies are just a little bit stronger. Again, he's super ambitious. He has a great self-preservation instinct right up until Endgame.
And that was the reason why. I mean,
super proud.
You take the character
resourceful out the wazoo.
You take the character over the course of all of the Avengers films, and I think he lends himself more towards Ravenclaw because you see the development of the character and the evolution of the character.
You can see him in Ravenclaw. I agree, and if you're taking across the MCU, I still think, given some of the other things, like if you eliminate Endgame altogether,
right?
then it's definitely more towards the Slytherin than the Ravenclaw. But I can see him in.
How as we go through all of these guys, we don't have just the Avengers anymore. I mean, we're sitting
to look at the entire MCU.
And now there's this cotton picking thing with Doctor Doom coming up. So we don't know exactly how
we don't know
Feige and team are going to be going through.
That's a version of Tony, or if it's just a version of Doctor Doom that happens to look like Tony.
We'll see very soon.
There's a version of the Human Torch that just happens to look like
Captain America, obviously. So.
Which, that's a great segue right into our next character.
Thank you for the multiverse, right?
Captain America, as played by Chris Evans. This man, he was stunned he got called back for Chris Evans because he'd already played for Captain America because he'd already played the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four movies, which the first one of those is really, really good. At the time of filming this, in fact, we just learned of Julian McMahon's passing.
Who played Dr. Doom.
Who played Dr. Doom in that film. So
incredible actor.
Incredible.
He had just a
strange sense about him.
There's just exactly, that's a very good thing. Julian McMahon had just this strange sense about him, regardless of whether he was Dr. Doom, which he did very well, or as the lead of FBI International. So,
or the president in Red.
Or the president in Red. Yes, he was extremely slimy there.
He had a wide-ranging career. He is an actor that will dearly, dearly be missed.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make mention of that since we were talking Fantastic Four
for
a moment. But on to Chris Evans and Captain America. I mean, Steve Rogers. What are you gonna do with this man?
I know where we're going.
I don't think you know where I'm going with him.
Okay, you'll have to justify it.
3, 2, 1.
Hufflepuff. Yeah. That's a no-brainer. I mean, when we mentioned Captain America, all the Harry Potter fans were like, "Dude, this guy, Hufflepuff." They ain't no.
But it's just. I think anybody who has a passing knowledge of the Harry Potter universe would probably have put him in Gryffindor.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at the traits that the houses value: kindness, loyalty, hard work, humility,
fairness, and kindness.
Oh my gosh, that's Steve Rogers. The man is called a Boy Scout more times than I can count in the MCU. That would be a very dangerous drinking game. If you counted every time he was called a Boy Scout by Tony.
Yeah.
But Hufflepuff all the way.
And again, that's the beauty behind the original Avengers. The casting was just so good.
Chef's kiss. All right, moving right along, we have Natasha Romanoff as played by Scarlett Johansson. She was brilliant in this role.
She was.
I was not a huge Scarlett Johansson fan before the MCU. Then I kind of started discovering some of her other work after, and I love Scarlett Johansson. She brought a layer to Natasha that I don't think another actress could have pulled off. Although, it is very interesting. Emily Blunt was actually signed on to play Natasha, but then a contract with, I think it was Universal, made her star in Gulliver's Travels with Jack Black.
Which bombed.
Instead. And so Marvel passed it to Scarlett.
I don't know that she would have held the level of physicality that Scarlett did. Or at least Scarlett's stunt double.
I have the hardest time imagining Emily in the role because I've spent way more time imagining her in Sue Storm's role. But I think she would have been interesting, but I don't think she would have brought quite the complexity or the endearingness that Scarlett brought, because Scarlett just has this beautiful dry humor about her and just this deadpan look on her face.
Started the newest iteration of Jurassic Park this last summer.
Yep. All right, so where do we put Natasha?
Wow.
Natasha is probably the hardest to sort for me. Okay, I think I got it.
Okay, I think so too.
3, 2, 1.
Gryffindor.
Okay.
Yeah, she's adjacent to everything else on the list.
Yes. Oh my goodness, she is probably the most wise of the entire group. She's definitely very hardworking and loyal, and she is cunning beyond belief. But her courage, her chivalry, her daring, her nerve, her stubbornness. I mean, the woman fought with Hawkeye to jump off a cliff to save the world. Like, she wouldn't let her best friend make a self-sacrifice. Like, that is the most Gryffindor thing ever.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying the character lends itself more towards.
Up next, we have Thor, as played by Chris Hemsworth. This was the film that launched his career.
I don't know that launched, but I think it certainly solidified his career.
His primary role was on an Australian soap opera.
Nay, my sweet daughter. Star Trek. The movie.
I always forget that came out before Thor. Thor was 2010. Star Trek was 2009.
James Kirk's dad in the first Star Trek new movie.
In the Kelvin timeline.
Yes, in the Kelvin timeline. Thor solidified his star. And it didn't help that he's
handsome.
Thor.
He's very Thor-like.
He's very
But Thor as a character, the best way I can describe him is as lovable doofus. Like, that's
especially later on in the MCU.
Like, I don't get me wrong, I like Thor Ragnarok, but Thor Love and Thunder, Taika went way too far. And even Chris Hemsworth has said, yeah, we went way too broad in Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder the disco one?
Love and Thunder was the most recent Thor movie, the one with Natalie Portman as Lady Thor as well. Or Mighty Thor, whatever the crap they called her.
The third one.
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok was Thor Goes to the Disco. Basically.
But it had Tom Hiddleston's Loki and Cate Blanchett's Hela to kind of balance it out. Love and Thunder did not have any balance.
And Love and Thunder probably is the weakest of the four Thor films, with the second one being close. 1 and 3 probably are my favorite of the four rather, and the
Thor standalone movies are just not my favorite. If you've watched my MCU ranking, you'll know that. But he's great when he's with the other Avengers because he has people to bounce off.
And that's what we're basing this off of, is the original Avengers movie. Not necessarily their standalone films.
So. Well, I mean, we're looking at the characters across the MCU.
Okay, so. I got him. Where are you going to put him?
Okay. Not Ravenclaw.
Count it down and let's see.
3, 2, 1. Gryffindor. Okay,
that's the closest. I mean,
he's sadly not very loyal.
Especially early.
Kind, especially early.
Yeah.
Bless him, he's not cunning at all. That's Loki's gig. Like, Loki's a surefire Slytherin.
Don't take away from his wisdom. I mean, that is one of the things. I mean, he
gets there, but he always needs it pointed out to him.
It's like he's an immature teenager.
Yes.
When we first encounter Thor,
the problem is he grows and then he regresses with every different movie. Like, he's pretty mature and good in Dark World. That movie's just not really good.
Right.
And then he's decently mature in Avengers with still a childlike humor. But then after that, as the MCU goes on and different writers got to take him up, it's like he started losing some of that maturity.
I think Thor probably in the MCU mirrors Thor in the comics more closely than any of the other characters.
Yes.
Just with the way that, and I think they took great strides to try and do that because, quote unquote, he's the oldest Avenger.
Yes.
With him being a Greek, Viking, Norse demigod or god of thunder, so, but.
Yeah, Gryffindor is really the only house I can honestly see Thor in, and I don't think he's super adjacent to any of the other houses.
I would say there are characteristics like all of the rest of the
but they are not characters. As strong as
correct.
All
right.
Okay. Moving right along, we have Bruce Banner / the Hulk. This one is a little bit hard. We're looking more at Bruce than the Hulk, but at this point in the MCU, they're integrated.
Yes.
So we can't really look at them as separate characters. If we were only focusing on the previous ones, we would have to do this as 2 separate entries. But played by Mark Ruffalo. This was also kind of a revitalization to his career as well.
It was. He had 13 going on 30 and a lot of indie type flicks. But this
Shutter Island with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
I think that's a Christopher Nolan film. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong.
Anyway, he has always been the supporting actor. And I think he prefers that.
Oh yeah. He seems to.
Or else I think he would have forced the issue on a standalone Thor that he is helming.
Hulk, yeah.
Hulk, yeah. A Hulk that he is helming.
Whereas he's been sidekick in like what, 3
Yeah,
different
it's been
standalone?
he seems to be very satisfied with the role that Hulk has played in the MCU, and I'll be curious to see what that looks like going forward.
Let's talk Bruce Banner.
Okay.
He's a scientist with a behemoth living inside of him. Like a very angry behemoth.
And at this point in the MCU, as we've seen that evolution come around, he's controlled it.
Yes, he's found a way through science and such to kind of mesh. Which, no, I kind of miss seeing Mark Ruffalo. His interactions with Robert were always like he and Robert were probably the best pairing in the OG6.
Right.
Like when you break them down, everybody always puts Tony and Bruce together. Steve and Thor, for whatever reason, wind up together, and then Nat and Clint are always put together. So, I mean, I don't know what else to say about Bruce. He is scientist. They tried, Joss Whedon, tried to give him a thing with Natasha that just didn't work. And not for any lack of trying on the actor's part. They did their best with the material they were given. It just wasn't completely unnecessary. But anyway, where does Bruce / Hulk go?
I think this is pretty given.
I think so too.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Ravenclaw.
I mean,
are we agreeing on most every one of these?
So far, the only one we've disagreed on is
Tony.
Which, I mean, hey, it's wonderful. You and I usually disagree at least 4 times.
Typically, yeah.
But yeah, Ravenclaw's really the only one I can see him in. Maybe Hufflepuff.
I don't even
because he is super kind and loyal.
And he does have a humility about him. I think Hufflepuff would be the only adjacency in this one.
Yeah, but
so.
I mean, he's one of the smartest men in the world until Reed Richards shows up. He is. His wit is dry, and again, he is funny. He's always standing next to Robert Downey Jr. But he's also super creative, as evidenced by the fact he was able to help in that time travel and find a way to integrate Hulk.
And it was integral in the creation of Vision.
Yes, he was. He and Tony created Vision, and so yeah. Ravenclaw is probably what suits Bruce.
What
All right.
suits Bruce? That's pretty good. That's good, Kristen.
All right. Last but definitely not least, I have opinions on this last one.
I suspect you do.
We have Hawkeye as played by Jeremy Renner.
Which happens to be Kristen's absolute favorite Avenger.
Yes. From the comics, from the movies, like all the things, I love Hawkeye. Mostly because he is a hero with 0 superpowers. None. He only has his shield training. In the comics... And I know we're not talking the comics, but we don't know what all Natasha went through in the Red Room. But in the comics, Natasha has some genetic enhancement from the Red Room. Clint has none of that.
That's never brought out in the MCU, however. So, I mean, that's why he and Natasha are paired up so well.
Well, also, they're besties. But, Clint, he's the normal person among Titans.
Right.
And he still holds his own. He is the only Avenger to not fall to Wanda, who, let's be honest, is probably the most powerful person in the MCU. He's the only person that did not fall prey to her magic tricks and took her down. Where was he during Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? Steven, next time just call Clint. He and Wanda have an understanding. Just call Clint. He refused to call Clint. He actually threw shade at Clint during the movie.
And I think Hawkeye is the underrated one. I mean, especially when you first see him in the first Thor movie. Mm-hmm. You see Clint come in the just blink and you'll miss him seen, but you see him there.
You hear Coulson say Barton, and you see him with a bow. You are expected to know this was Hawkeye. At the time of Thor, I wasn't as into Marvel. I had no earthly idea who that character was. I just thought, oh, cool shield agent with a bow.
Well, and then you come along and you've humanized him with the TV series and his training of the new Hawkeye.
Yes, Kate.
Yeah, Kate. And so it's really of all of the characters this one has been just kind of a roller coaster because all of the humanity of the Avengers lies in Clint Barton.
It helps that they've given the character a family. They've given him. They gave him stakes. Nobody else in the group has real stakes except Tony with Pepper.
And that's later on.
And that's it is what it is. But Jeremy Renner plays him, and Jeremy Renner does such a good job with such little material.
And it's unfortunate right now that and they have. I mean, it's unfortunate that Jeremy Renner and Marvel are on the outs right now because Hawkeye
Marvel,
could be
Disney.
Okay, because Hawkeye could be a very, very titular character going forward for the MCU, and especially if you ever want to do what is it, the West Coast Avengers that he's a part of, and even the Young Avengers to a certain extent.
He was a mentor there.
So if you want to have Disney, listen, bring back Bad Batch and bring back Hawkeye.
Yes. Well, right.
You heard it first here, ladies and gentlemen. And the Crossing King Garage, where we're all family, and we still have a great admiration for Disney. But what are you thinking?
Right. What Daddy is alluding to is that a few months ago, news broke that Jeremy Renner would likely not be returning for season 2 of Hawkeye because Disney wanted to pay him half of what he made for the first season of Hawkeye to star in every single episode. That's not right, but I read something the other day that said Jeremy Renner might be re-entering talks with Disney, so maybe Disney saw everybody being like, how very dare you.
It's like this. Nobody ever dies in the MCU.
Well, Clint's never
died. And nobody ever is really gone in the MCU.
He's not dead.
Especially in the multiverse. So, there is hope. Please, Disney, come to the table, do the right thing.
Well,
let's put him in a house.
I want to see Clint again in the MCU very badly, but let's see where he would go if he went to Hogwarts. I think I know where I want him. I think I'm going to have to justify it, though. 3, 2, 1.
Gryffindor.
Really?
Yeah.
I have thought you were going to put him in Hufflepuff. Okay. I get where you're coming from with Gryffindor. I really, really do. With Ravenclaw, I think a lot of it boils down to he is the only wise one in the group. He's the only one with common sense.
I would go common sense.
During Age of Ultron, he's
the voice of reason.
Yes, he is very much the voice of reason, and yes, that's sometimes a stereotype for the Ravenclaws, but he is the voice of reason. He also has a very sharp wit, all through Hawkeye and Age of Ultron, and a little bit in Endgame. He has a super sharp wit. He is very individual with just the simple fact he is an archer, and again, he's the normal human among all these funny people.
I put him in Gryffindor, I think, mostly because of his relationship with Natasha.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, again, the humanity in this era of Titans, as you said earlier, is something that sets him apart. And there's no doubt about his courage. There's no doubt about his chivalry.
He also tried to jump off the cliff
because of his devotion to his family. Daring, nerve, those are no-brainers. Stubbornness, again, yes.
He also tried to jump off
the cliff to save the entire universe. So those are my justifications. I think
it's a good justification.
I think he's Gryffindor with Ravenclaw adjacencies. I love that word.
Adjacency, yes. But I think he could easily slot into both houses. Will you guys please break the tie for us down in the comments for both Hawkeye and Iron Man? Those are the only two we disagreed on.
That's not too shabby. 2 out of 6. Wow, we're
getting better at this.
I don't know about better, but at least we're getting closer to, maybe it's a Vulcan mind meld or something going on. But
anyway, that's the OG6 Avengers. Please let us know if you want us to take a look at some more Marvel characters. We have no shortage of them. Maybe we do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. sometime, although you've not finished that series, so you would be at a disadvantage. But
the TV shows, perhaps.
Coulson would be Hufflepuff.
Okay, no worries there. So this is your blend of two of your favorite iconic universes: the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the Potterverse. Which I'm still needing to read book 2.
Yeah. You'll get there. You'll get there.
We'll get there.
But until next time, we'll see you in 2 weeks for another video. And until then, I'm Kristen.
I'm Randy, and we want to thank you for coming and being a part of the Crossing Kim family.